This is the FREESKY Ranger AIR dual-motor electric bike. I just wanted to share my experience with this in case anyone else is considering it. At a basic level, it's a big, heavy, dual-motor fat tire e-bike with a step-through frame and full suspension. The kind of person I think this fits best is someone who wants electric power for hills, rough roads, dirt paths, or winter streets, and who also wants an easy mount and dismount without swinging a leg over a high-top tube. If you're looking for a light bike you can carry upstairs or toss on a small rack by yourself, this probably isn't that. If you want something that feels stable, planted, and comfortable over ugly terrain, that's where it starts making sense. The thing that makes it feel different from a lot of e-bikes I've tried is the dual motor setup. You can ride it like a normal rear-drive e-bike, or you can bring the front motor in, and that changes how it behaves on loose ground and on steep climbs. With both motors active, it doesn't just push from the back, it pulls from the front too. On a steep, broken hill near where I ride, the rear wheel on single-motor bikes will sometimes slip if there's sand or gravel on top. On this, when the rear starts to lose grip, the front helps keep it moving forward. It feels less like spinning and hoping, and more like steady traction. In person, it looks closer to a small moped than a typical bicycle, mostly because of the 26 by 4-inch tires and the chunky frame. The step-through design is practical. I can get on and off easily, even when I have a backpack on or I'm stopping a lot in traffic. The frame doesn't feel flimsy under me, and I'm saying that as someone who immediately notices flex when a bike is underbuilt. The welds and the general fit of parts looked fine on my unit. Nothing jumped out as sloppy. The suspension is a big part of why I kept reaching for this bike when I had the choice. On regular city streets with cracks, potholes, and uneven patches, it takes the edge off in a way that makes longer rides feel less tiring. I rode it over a stretch of road that always annoys me on normal bikes, those fast repeating bumps that make your hands go numb, and the combination of fat tires and suspension kept it controlled. It's not a magic carpet, you still feel the bigger hits, but it dulls the sharpness. The brakes matter on a bike like this because it has real speed and real weight. Mine has hydraulic disc brakes, and they've been predictable. I can slow down smoothly instead of that on-off feeling some cheaper setups have. After a few fast stops, I did notice the brakes and rotors get warm, which is normal. But it's also a reminder that you're managing more mass than a typical bike. I check pad wear more often than I do on lighter e-bikes, because stopping a heavy bike from higher speed just eats pads faster. Assembly was what I'd expect for a shipped e-bike. I had to do the usual: straighten the bars, install the front wheel, pedals, and check everything over. I always assumed bolts need attention, so I went around with tools and made sure things were tight. After a few rides, I checked again because parts settle in. On mine, a couple bolts needed a small retighten, and after that it stayed consistent. It's not hard, but I wouldn't skip that step, especially because this bike can move fast enough that you don't want surprises. Day to day, the bike is straightforward. The step-through frame makes quick stops easier. The fat tires feel stable when I'm riding next to traffic or crossing sketchy road paint and metal plates. The downside of fat tires is you feel the rolling resistance if you try to pedal without assist. And you definitely notice it if the battery is low or off. This isn't a bike I'd want to pedal home unpowered for a long distance. It's possible on flat ground at an easy pace, but it's work. The battery on my rides has been solid, but range depends completely on how you use the motors. If I'm riding in a calmer pedal assist level and mostly using one motor, I can stretch it out for long rides. When I ride more aggressively, use higher assist, and keep dual motor on because it's fun and it flattens hills, the battery drops a lot faster. I don't chase max range numbers. I think of it more like, if you ride it like a powerful e-bike, expect to charge it more often. The battery being removable helps because I can bring it inside and charge it without moving the whole bike. Power delivery feels strong, but it's also a cadence-based system, not a torque sensing it reads your effort kind of feel. In real use, that means there's a small delay between when I start pedaling and when it decides to help. And the help comes in more like a step than a smooth blend. Around tight corners, or when I'm trying to crawl slowly on something technical, I pay attention because it can feel like it suddenly wakes up. I adjusted my riding style quickly. Lighter pedal starts when I want control, and then pedal normally once I'm rolling. I tested it in a few scenarios that matter to most people. Commuting streets, a steep climb, loose gravel, and a dirt path with ruts. In traffic, it accelerates quickly enough that I can clear an intersection without feeling like I'm stuck in the lane. On the steep climb, dual motor is the difference between comfortably rolling up and having to fight for it. On loose gravel, the bike feels more stable than a standard tire bike. And with both motors active, it keeps moving without that rear wheel scramble. On the rutted dirt path, the weight actually helps it track straight. But that same weight means it's not a bike I'd call nimble. I can't flick it around like a lightweight mountain bike. I steer it more deliberately and let the bike's stability do the work. The screen is readable outdoors, and I like having speed and battery info in front of me without squinting. The NFC unlock is convenient in real life. I tap to unlock and go, and it's one less key to mess with. I still keep a backup option in mind, because any electronic unlock feature can be annoying if you lose the card or something acts up. I haven't had it fail on me, but I don't assume tech is perfect forever. One practical thing, this bike takes up space. Parking it in a tight garage corner or moving it through a narrow doorway takes some effort. If you're storing it inside an apartment, measure your space and think about how you'll maneuver it. Also, because it's heavy, the walk assist feature actually matters. I used it more than I expected when pushing it up a short ramp. Longer term, I treat it like something that needs regular check-ins. I keep an eye on brake pads, I listen for any creaks from suspension pivots, and I check tire pressure depending on where I'm riding. Higher pressure for pavement, lower if I want more grip and comfort off-road, with the trade-off being range. That routine is just part of owning a powerful, heavy e-bike. So my overall take after using it is pretty simple. The Ranger Air makes sense if you want a stable, comfortable ride with enough power to handle steep hills and loose terrain. And you're okay with the size and weight that comes with that. It's not for someone who wants a natural, feels exactly like a regular bike pedal experience. And it's not for someone who needs portability. But for the way I used it, mixed roads, rough patches, and climbs, it did what I needed, and it made those rides easier on my legs and my back. To learn more about the FREESKY Ranger AIR dual motor electric bike, please check the comments section.